Welcome inside the kennel, the heartbeat of the dog game, where real breeders break down real experiences, and the experts drop the knowledge you can't Google. We talking structure, bloodlines, nutrition, training, wins, losses, and everything that makes champions in and out of the ring. This is for the ones who live it, breathe it, and build it, one lit at a time. Your host, Kevin Ben and Roderick. Lock in.
All right, welcome back to Inside the Kennel. This is Kevin, and we got
Benny Hood.
Talk again, T-Rod.
Yo.
Okay. I didn't think I had your mic on. So today we're gonna discuss what we'd do different if we were starting over with our kennels, knowing today what we know compared to what we thought we knew when we got into it.
Who's gonna kick it off?
Where you want to start with? I mean, obviously, we'd probably all start with a better foundation female.
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't have. I thought you had to have a stud in the house,
Right.
and I would not. I would 100% just have. I would want two females to start with. Period.
Right. So, that's kind of my thing. Is I would continue to do what I'd done to begin with, and I wouldn't have a stud on my yard.
Bought a stud sooner.
You would have bought a stud sooner?
Yeah.
Nah.
That's the thing. It's well. So you know that. So you're basing it on that something. So you can.
But I guess it depends on what market we would be in. Are we in today's market, or are we into the market when we all got
No,
into
that's
it?
well, because that market led to what it is now.
Right.
Like,
So
that fad.
If we were into then, absolutely still not. I wouldn't have a stud because I couldn't keep up with DNA and the fads enough to build something off of my yard by keeping a stud. It would make no sense. So I would continue to do what I'd done, where I would sell the studs, but retain some breeding rights to that stud in case to use on my yard for females and all that, so you can build your bloodline. But I don't. I tell everybody this: if Flair hadn't came along, I would have never had a stud to begin with. And there's days I wish I'd have just taken the $100,000 offer for him when he was 3 days old and never ran with a stud.
Better make sure he can't hear you.
So, I mean,
Well, but if I could go back and tell myself, just quit worrying about the stud and all because then it was Willy Wonka, Teddy Grahams, and the deal was is if the feeling wasn't how it was sold to me is if you buy a son off them, it will be working. When it's time, my people are just going to come to you. And if I could go back and tell myself, like, the stuff was at an all-time high. And buying into anything at an all-time high is a bad idea.
Right.
So if you want to do this, get you some females, be patient. You have 2 or 3 females, and then start breeding for your own self. And you breed the DNA and the structure up in your females, and then when these fads come, you can breed and be right there.
Right.
You're right. You are the top tier because you have the females that'll put you ahead of everybody else.
that was the key in our program, is that we could create great foundational dogs, even studs, that where some people wasn't worried about being at the top with the fat or whatever. They just wanted a nice stud because they might have 10 females and they just wanted one off their yard, off their bloodline, to breed to all of these females instead of continue to pay stud fees. But it's like I always tell everybody too, in the old market, you can buy a dog from somebody that's got all the hype, but you can't buy their hype. You can't expect, just because you breed to one of the top people's studs or buy a dog from them, that dog or that breeding is going to bring you the money and the notoriety that person has. It just doesn't. everything transfers, but that hype, and that's something that is self-made, something that is self-built. That is, the hype is you. The quality is the quality, but your ability to promote and sell yourself and your brand and your dogs, that's all on you, and you cannot buy that. I don't care what anybody says. People have went broke buying stuff on off-the-leash media to try to promote their dogs, and they still don't. Nobody knows who the hell they are when they pay the price to be on there.
I'm living proof of that, because when I started, I bought a Teddy Graham son, a Willy Wonka daughter. I bought a bunch of blood. I had a bunch of blood.
Well,
I had a
where you
low
screwed
mane.
up.
Well, I had low mane blood. I had all kinds of blood, and I thought, well, I'm good.
If
Like I
if
bought
you'd
all
have come
this.
and bought a Flair daughter or a Flair son, you'd have been way ahead of
Well,
them
I
other
mean,
dogs.
I wanted to, but you was
I
was
was
that
an
guy
asshole.
you was that guy that's running around chasing trailers in Walmart parking lots.
Well,
But
it was
But in all honesty, when it come down to it, about a year into it, I found Harley
right.
and her daughter literally just 2 miles from me, from a lady that breeds King Charles.
Right.
And when I seen those dogs, I'm like, that's what I want.
Right.
And all the money that I spent and all the names that I chased, it was a breeder literally 3 miles from me that I found on Puppy Finder.
Right.
Of all places.
Right.
The Thrifty Nickel is selling
You know,
puppies.
that's what I tell people. The best dogs you're going to get are still from a smaller camp, because they don't miss, they don't waste their money. They do a lot of research before they do anything. They don't have a chance to miss. They can't screw it up, because they already know they're going to be behind. They're not going to sell dogs straight out of the gate for $40,000, $50,000. So the only way that they can compete is with the quality. And you don't even know what dogs to keep. I do it all the time. I'll keep a dog till they're 6, 7, 8 months old, and then I'll sell it because it ain't what I want, but it's exactly what somebody else wants. It's better than what they have. But it's not what I want to keep and breed. So,
It's on the other side of that now, T-Rod. You said you would have got a male sooner.
Oh, definitely.
Care to explain yourself, sir?
Definitely. So, I mean, that was my whole idea from the jump. After you spend $5,000 to breed to a dog, ship sperm in for another $500, and then have to go through a surgical, for me, finding out, like, that probably was the worst thing I could have went through on my first breed, because I wasn't expecting anything like that.
right.
So
Yeah.
I was expecting everything just to go smooth, perfect. I paid the money. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm checking numbers. I'm staying in contact with the stud owner. I'm thinking my shit gonna go smooth, So when that happened, I was kind of messed up about the whole situation. So I told myself,
Yeah.
I don't even want to do the rebreed. I just send me a whole dog, because if I got a stud in my yard, nothing can stop me but me at that point, I feel like.
That's good for a few breedings, but like I told Benny earlier, I don't repeat breeding. So having a stud on my yard, I'm not going to run him to the same female multiple times. I'm just not going to do it. It doesn't make any sense to me to repeat breedings. I think it lessens what you have. Now, when you're first getting started out, if you lay a badass foundation down and you're trying to build your yard and you're going to keep, and say you had one stud and one female, well, yeah, you're going to keep some females off that first breeding, and then you're going to run it back and you're going to keep some off of that. And now you got a foundation, but here we are at the point that stud's useless now.
Yeah.
So you've done what you're going to do with him, and the
I
new
thought
fads are already taking over. And it used to be, when I started, every fad took 2 copies of something. We wasn't in the one copy of stuff. So you didn't have time to do whatever. You had to go to another stud that carried a copy of that. And the chances of you starting off with a stud with all that DNA, the new DNA that was out, is I don't know.
Yeah, it was one copy, because even the stud that I got, it was one copy. But for me, it took me miles, though, because my female was missing some things. But also, I thought that maybe I would be able to help like everybody in my camp.
Right.
I said maybe I can cut down where we don't have to spend all this money on stud fees and keep making everybody rich. So if I got a stud that has at least everything on the panel, he can create anything. So he can, if y'all need a stud and something goes wrong, you can't get somewhere, sperm can't get here or something, I got something you can use. You still got a breed you can use.
So
it
but
would have been quick,
but think about it this way. So we bred, and we got Flair's mom off of Shaq, right? We bred the Shaq, and man, I don't remember. I think we paid $3-4 for that breeding. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't a lot. And then we took his mama back to a Shaq son that was only a carrier of everything, and we only paid $2,000 for that breeding. So while everybody was out paying astronomical amounts, you got to remember this is in the run of King Kong, Shaq's brother. They were just crushing it with him, like $8,000-$10,000 stud fees, some astronomical number, and we done it for pennies on the dollar. So when they went and bought Willy Wonka at the magical, I don't know what the number is, whether it's 400,000, 500,000, whatever they said it was, more like 125,000. I don't know, but for 100% sure, but they had to go spend big money. Isaac had to spend money to get in on Teddy Grahams. We created Flair.
Do you know? Is the guy that in Florida that has the bully farm? Is it Mike Brown or David Brown?
I don't know.
He's on YouTube, pretty big presence. I seen something he was talking about with those guys, specifically UK breeders. He said they just make those numbers up.
Yes.
Like the dog really didn't cost that much. They're putting a value, a imaginary value, and they only give them to breeders in the United States that have motion.
Right.
And that's how it works. Like that's
That's
what
how
the
they
scheme
set the
is.
market at,
Yeah.
and make everybody believe that it is that big a deal. Now, undoubtedly, and I don't care, I've still got the messages saved of the offers that we had on
some
Flair.
dogs have sold for that though.
Right.
I think some dogs have.
Oh,
sold
no,
for
I'm
big
not
money.
saying that they
No, I'm
have
talking
it.
about. I'm talking about in bulk. Like I'm not going to argue the
No, I think some
exceptions.
people
The
that may have
exceptions
done
to the
that,
rule.
but I think
I'm
some
ta-
people didn't. I
I'm
think
talking
some
about the
people really
rule
paid that price.
in general. Like the 95%. He's saying like they don't pay for them dogs. They
Right.
just have motion.
Right.
So they're a barker.
Right.
They're a promoter.
Right.
But so maybe they do get
So,
some people for those prices, but not
let's
him.
look at it like this too, if people want to look at it, because everybody's want to say, oh well, they bought Willy Wonka for $500,000. Okay. Well, then they went on off the leash bragging about how he made $1 million. No, he didn't make $1 million. He made 500,000. If they collected $1 million on him, he only made $500,000.
Right.
Well, I didn't have to pay for Flair. So he's legitimately made $800,000 by all standards, or a little more than that, probably. I don't know. I can sit down and figure it out, but I know it was over 800,000 at one point. So, and he's got all the breedings to back that up. Point being is, when you start out, if you do that and you do it right, whether you buy a stud for your yard or you use some carriers or whatever, and you produce it, kind of goes back to our last, and I don't want to get T-Rod because we covered all that.
He's right there. He might throw hands.
The produced and not bought, right? This is where you get into that part of it, right? Because if you produce the dog, it didn't cost you $20, $30, $100, $200,000 for that dog. So you're not having to make up money to pay. You don't have to cover your expenses.
So then,
first.
to
Now
get
that's what
back,
now that's what I'm saying in both aspects of the produce not bought and in what would you do different. That's why I would have had a stud. Only because even if I would have had to produce it on my first litter, I would have definitely kept, if there was a good stud in there, I would have definitely kept it, just because of the fact of I want to be able to breed at home in my own yard at any given time
So that goes to the conversation. So if you were starting over now, like if you were going to keep a stud, what would be the factor? What was the factor then? Because it was different motivation 5 years ago, and what it would be now. Because for me personally, I'm gonna keep stud, but I don't really give a shit if anybody ever uses it or not.
yeah,
It's
that's
for
what I'm saying.
me.
It wasn't
It's
for
for
the
what
money.
I need for my
Right,
program.
It wasn't for the money, right? It was for in-house only at
Well,
the time.
I can tell you this: if Flair had came out Isabella, I would have sold him.
Well, he wouldn't have been him though.
Right. So there was no need in keeping an Isabella Fluffy when everybody was already having Isabella Fluffies.
Right. So you kept what you wanted.
Right.
That's what people should do.
And-
right?
and-
Like,
See, that was the thing. I was on my way to creating things like that. I didn't have a female that had everything that she needed, but I knew with the male that I had, if everything went the way I was praying for it to go, I should have something in the litter where I should be able to go forward. Whether it be because
there was a more complete. I mean, that at least carried everything, so you could have a rainbow litter. You had the chance of producing, which is what we done with Flair. I mean, we kept his mama. She was a black and tan carrier of everything, bred to a carrier of everything, and hope we hit the lottery. We hit the lottery. Again, right dog, right DNA at the right time. End of story. On the backside of it, you still have to promote. You still have to build your brand. You still have to have customer service. But I would not change the fact. I mean, we started out with chocolate brindle females. If I had to do it over again, I'd go right back to my chocolate brindle females.
I don't think I don't. There's the only thing I would. I'm saying the only thing other than buying a stud faster or something of that sort that I would have done different is I would have went ahead and spent the money on everything that I wanted to go ahead and spend the money on. But in the beginning, I kept getting told by people in my camp, "Nah, man, you don't need this, you don't need that. That stuff's not gonna do you no good." The whole time, it's stuff you really need. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's so early on, and I think they were still in the beginning stages of their stuff because I think they was like the main person I was dealing with, he was like in his third year.
Right.
And I think he was just used to doing things a certain way. And he came from breeding bullies and pits and things like that.
Right.
So he was still probably in his beginning stages of learning certain stuff. But me, I was ready to spend the money and go all the way out. And I'm not going to say he didn't have the money to spend, but I don't know if he cared to go that crazy because he was just successful doing it the way he was doing it. But for me, I'm a guy that likes to I like to go all out. You see what I'm saying? So if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it all the way. I'm not going to, like, if you say, hey, to have a race car, because y'all talk about that a lot, to have a complete race car, you're going to need, this, that, and the other. And if you want it to really be a badass race car, you might want to you could add this, that, and the other.
Right.
Well, when you see me, I'm not going to just have the race car. I'm gonna have the badass race car.
I think.
I don't believe in
I think
having
with
less.
anything like that, like these dogs, like the race cars, anything, it's something that gets really overlooked. Is what you were just talking about. If you don't have the infrastructure,
Yes.
if you don't have for a race car, it's a shop and the tools and all that stuff to fix that stuff yourself. You have to sell puppies at such a high rate. If you have to pay a whelper and you have all that overhead in them,
Answer this.
you do. But if you're doing it,
does it matter if you know how to fix it at the time or not? Do you still buy the damn?
if
tool?
you're willing to
Do
fail,
you buy
if you're
the
willing
tools?
to
Do you-
try and fail and learn,
So you buy the tools.
it makes it, yeah.
So you go ahead and buy the tools because it will make it easier.
Yeah.
At
Yes.
some point in time, you will.
Yes, you go out in dog breeding. You go out, you buy your incubators, you buy your whelping supplies, you buy your whelping box,
talk
you
to
buy everything you can to be prepared if you're going to do that.
Even though I still to this day have not attempted to pull a male.
Right.
I was gonna buy a scope. You know what I'm saying? One of the first pieces of equipment I was trying
let
to
me just
buy
save
was
you
the
some money.
microscope.
Let
Right.
me
Test
show
my
you.
dog.
I'm gonna just save you some money. Don't mess with that shit. You know you ain't never gonna be there,
I probably
man.
won't,
That's a
bro.
mental
I
block.
probably
I
won't.
got
I
got money that you will die. At your funeral, you gonna have to pay me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably won't. I probably.
And that's the thing. There is parts of this dog breeding that some people can't get over and be like, I just can't do that.
In not an exciting way,
Right.
but I would. I don't want to say I would love to, but at some point, I at some point, I don't even say
Just to have it on your resume to say you done it.
to say I can.
To say you
To
can.
say I know how to. You know
Well,
what I'm
you
saying?
do know
I
how
like
to. You've been practicing for it your whole life.
Yeah, but not with other, not with other people. You know what I'm saying? With other things. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference. Thing, you know what I'm saying? You know, I don't. I ain't got that kind of experience.
Two
and
of my studs will make you feel real bad about it because Teddy and Hoss, when you pull them, both of them, I don't know why, but when they get to that point, they'll turn away from you with their head to the wall. Like they're almost ashamed of what's happening. Like
that's
the
why
clients
it's good to
that
have
use
friends
them-
that live not
Well,
far that can. that can
Claire
do
will
that.
not. He will.
No, he'll kick your leg off.
He'll turn around, get ready for you to pull him, and then smile at you while you're doing it.
Just
So-
look at you in the eye.
See,
and
that's
make
what
it
I'm saying.
awkward.
That's a little too.
Yeah.
That's a little too much.
So he knows, but yeah. So I think there's a lot of things people can do different, and the biggest thing
Don't go
is
cheap. To me, I don't want to say some people. Like I said, I don't want to say that they were cheap. I don't want to say they didn't have the money, but in my opinion, I'm gonna put it in that term. Don't be fucking cheap, bruh. Spend that money. Buy everything you need in the process of being a breeder, a whelper, anybody that, if you're going to deal with these dogs in any kind of way, buy everything, even if you don't plan on doing it, because at some point you can say what you won't do. But when money is on the line and you got a family you got to feed, tell me what.
When you gonna get?
Okay,
when
hold
you
on. Wait a
gonna
minute.
get
There's a
tired?
limit.
Hey,
Hold on. Wait a
when
minute.
are
Wait a
you
minute,
gonna
wait a
get
minute.
tired
While
of
we
paying
speaking-
somebody to
while
pull
we-
your dog?
While we're saying this, there is a limit to what I will do in life for money.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure. So
20
let's
bucks
get that
is
clear.
20 bucks.
But what I'm saying is, in the dog world, there's not much that I'm not willing to do. I pick up dog shit. There's nothing worse than picking up dog shit.
Right.
There's nothing worse than cleaning
Yeah,
up
there
dog
is.
shit.
know,
It's
but-
when you're worried about when that shit don't look right, and you're sitting
and-
there breaking it apart because you're trying to figure out what's wrong
But
with your
when you've had to unfortunately have natural deliveries,
Right.
you've dealt with the nastiest shit you can
Yes.
ever deal with if you've done that.
But
if
you know,
you've
you're-
ever had to do it. So
we're
so
sitting
for
here
me,
talking about supplies, and I'm sitting here looking at a backpack that's full of $3,000 worth of progesterone testing equipment
damn
and
right.
TCI gun and all of that. I do it for people. I don't really advertise. I used to do it a lot. That's kind of how I built my name and the research and stuff. But I have it there just because when my females come into heat. So it's kind of like having a stud that,
Right.
you know, I invested that money. I'm probably never going to make it. I will, because we all know how much progesterone testing is on the outside. That was one of the things you invested in first.
Okay.
That
Benny.
was that
But
was.
let's put it
I
this
wish
way.
starting out, like I should have learned how to draw blood way sooner.
Right.
I would have saved so much money, but not just on the breeding part, but on the birth part.
Right.
But doing the reverse PGs, because I can
Right.
do it for $10 a test versus 90.
Right.
And so so it don't matter. Like I'll get up every morning and test her when she gets close,
Right.
Because I ain't got to worry of being $600, $700, $800 in.
I remember when you wasn't doing that. I remember when we were talking, I was like, I'm finna try to go to school to go to veterinarian tech school. I was like, Benny, let's go. We were gonna go together.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, he bought everything he was already doing and stuff. You see what I'm saying? That's the thing about it, man. If you ask me, I think about stuff like, okay, yeah, I got people that do it.
Right.
I got you. I got Benny. I got a good friend named Christian. Y'all all know how to do what y'all do. Y'all do it good. Okay. Now, when it comes to certain things, like I got a dog, I come on with you, right?
Right.
Okay, that goes along with what we do.
Right.
So when I got a breeding so when I got a breeding to that dog, what if you're not around? What if you're out of town at a dog show? What if you're out of town doing another breeding?
Right.
And I can't, and I got a breeding pulling up right now, and money
Yeah.
is on the line.
Right.
What do I do?
That's
You see what I'm saying?
Put the glove on.
There you go. You got to be able to, because now we're not talking about me taking one of my own studs that I own over to my friend's house and getting it done over here. We're talking about our business.
Right.
See, sometimes people, it's not nothing against anyone else, but you also have to think business wise and business etiquette.
Yeah.
You don't just go places and do business everywhere with everything. You do different business with different people.
Yes.
My studs are my studs. I've been going there. I knew her before I knew you.
Right.
That's where I've been going to do my thing. People live by her. They go there by. Okay, I can still bring people here. I can still take people to Benny.
Right.
But at the same time, the dog I co-on with you, that's business I have with you. So business etiquette is, unless you say, because I co-own that dog with you and I got it from you. That was your dog first.
Right.
So without talking to you and you saying it's okay to take this dog elsewhere and get it pulled and do business elsewhere with a dog that I co-own with you, and this is what you do as well, that could be a problem or not. You don't. I'm not saying it is, but we're speaking business etiquette in the dog world. There's cases where that could be a problem with people. Some people may not want that done. So at the instance of that being a thing, we all at some point need to be able to do everything.
And I think this boils down to,
and I'm just talking
an
business
$8,000 stud fee will make you do things you don't want to do.
There you go. Hey, listen. I'm
Quicker than $1,000 stud fee
I'm gonna be
will.
real with you. You right, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I've never gotten on a plane. I never forget. I tell everybody that I talk to, the first time you'll see me get on a plane is if somebody's buying a dog worth enough. You're gonna see me getting. If my nanny is not available, guess what? I'm gonna be on the plane flying with that dog,
and that's
be on the plane for the
where
first time if that's what it takes.
Again, everybody has a threshold. Everybody has a price limit. But the other thing is, once you've started your kennel and stuff, you can't be kennel blind. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people got duped into buying dogs that didn't the dogs just really didn't turn out to be what they thought they were going to be, right?
Yeah. Now the stud I bought back then is definitely not worth what I paid for him back then. I paid $12,000 for him. I paid $750 to ship him in. He came from New York.
Right.
I bought him from Frenchy Republic, New York, and he was a good dog at the time. And like I said, he's done a lot for me. He took me miles. He's created a lot of good stuff for me. He's created good stuff with other people's camp. And in today's world, he wouldn't be worth nowhere near that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he was worth it at the time. I made it back quick with him.
But let's think about female wise. You breed the female and she doesn't produce great puppies, right?
Right.
No matter what she looks like, if she doesn't produce,
I will say that
sooner or later you got to cut your ties with that female and not waste the money anymore.
Well, that is true, because see, now that is the key to my situation. He told me before he sold me the dog, he said, I don't mean any disrespect, but where I'm at in the game, I got a dog that cause like I said, whenever my shit went like it went, I said, bro, you know,
yeah,
I would do the rebreed, but I like the blood so much that I would love to just buy the blood. Right. What do you? I know you bred in house first. What do you have? And he sold me Lomaine's first son, and he said, look, man, I got what would be table scraps in my yard, but it would take you miles where you are in the area you live in, because y'all don't have anything of this caliber there, and the DNA and the pedigree. I was like, okay, cool. And I understood that. He said, but I'm going to tell you something. He is a tool to use. And if you don't use the tool correctly, you will never get out of him what you're supposed to get out of him. So the female you have now, she's good. She's cool. But she's not the female that you need for a dog like him. Right. So you need to get you another female that is made for him and take him to her, and you will create what you're looking to create, and you will go far. Right. But I didn't do that, to be honest with you. I didn't listen. And I made out good with the female that I had. Yeah. But had I listened and I'd done that, I probably would be a whole lot further. But he still did some stuff, and I still had a pretty good foundation female that actually created me something good. But there's still a couple of flaws that she had that I have not been able to get out of some of my dogs whenever
Right.
they're born. So at the instance of, I see that I still haven't succeeded with that male, even though he's not what he would have been years ago. I don't think I've created the best thing that I can create out of him yet. So he's still working, he's still doing things, and I'm still,
And that's the thing. Some females' pedigree is so tight with a flaw or whatever. It's harder to get that flaw out of that female than it is to get that flaw out of that male.
Yeah.
Because I believe the female plays a bigger key role in the breedings than the male does. And that's what I've always said. You're just looking for a male that won't screw up your female.
Right.
You know.
But they've created me my best dogs that have taken me every step of the way. So at the same time, I believed in
Right.
in the blood of both of them. They were both good dogs. I got the other one from the Frenchie Connection,
Right.
in Dallas. And man, I mean, like I said, Texas Frenchie Connect. That's what. Yeah. My guy out there. And man, when I tell you, like, it took some time because I knew the vision I had and I saw it in them, but it took time because, like I said, I went to the blood and it did everything I thought it was going to do. The first dog, Benny bought.
Right.
The other dog in the litter, it died.
Right.
Then the dog he bought died. So then we have none of that around. So now I'm stuck and I get put behind and I never get to see that vision grow. So now, in order for me to still see, I'm one of those guys that regardless of what the market is doing and how far other people are going, if I had a vision for something, I'm going to stick to it.
I want to interject here and be clear so you don't cause me problems at home. Aaron bought that dog.
Well, yes.
Aaron
Yes.
paid for that dog. She had her own
Yes.
business. She
Yeah,
she
that's
put
so-
all
Let's not
that.
take that away.
Don't
Yes. Yeah, true story. She
That's-
did, yeah, because
yeah.
she didn't even want. Yeah, this
Yeah.
man didn't even want to have nothing to
Don't
do
don't
with
don't
Frenchies at
don't
the
don't
time,
put
right?
that on me. She gonna be like,
Right,
oh,
his
so
wife
you
bought
bought
the dog.
Dom though, huh? So you did it. Yeah, no,
But
she
here's-
did it.
Here's
Yeah,
the
she
flip
did.
side to all of that, and it's people you work with when you're trying to build something, you know.
Right.
If you can get a few people together and y'all use each other's dogs as tools to build what you're looking for.
We had plans because he had got a real nice dog named Gucci
Oh, man,
from
yeah.
California.
Yeah.
And at that time, since they bought Dom and I bought Chopsticks, we didn't want to wait on the time. By that time, we had already caught on like a mug. So it was like, we're not going to sit around and wait a whole year to create dogs because that's what it's going to take. Because I just had these puppies. He just got this one, but then he turned around and got that female. And when I got Chopsticks, our plan was to go ahead and breed these dogs together. When things come back around, we were going to just do the breeding a different way. And he had got another female that had Champagne Poppy. He got Roxy.
Yep.
Yeah. So
We
we were
still
just
have
going to
her.
breed her to Chopsticks. And we were just going to come back, and rotate it later on down the road. But like I said, dogs died, things started to happen. And so,
I tell people this too. If it wasn't for the losses, I'd be so far ahead of
Yeah.
a lot of these breeders. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that's out there like that. They've shot their shot to try to get the DNA or that one dog,
well, see,
and
that's
either
what-
they did the DNA didn't line up or they had losses on the
Right.
litters. Things happen, and
I think that was a lot of my problem in the beginning. It was the losses, bro. It wasn't anything I done that I would have done differently necessarily. It was the losses I had to take to get to the next step because you couldn't buy fast enough back then. It didn't matter what you did, you couldn't buy fast
No.
enough.
And I guess that's where a lot of the more well-known breeders succeeded, because if they wasn't able to produce it, they went and bought it from somebody that nobody knew, and they made it theirs, right?
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to be the plug, right?
Right. I mean, and that's what I always wanted to find out. Okay, if you bought the dog, who did you buy it from? Because that's where I want to go, right?
Right.
I mean, Aaron J and them bought King Kong. Where'd you get King Kong from, right? I want to know where that dog
Well,
came
see,
from.
you were smart.
And that's where I found Gary and those guys out there in Vegas. And I was like, well, I'm just going to go to them. They created it. Let's just go to them.
But you had the resources. Everybody didn't have the resources back then. You could search online, but everybody wasn't on Facebook back then. Back then, it was Instagram. So if you started out and you were just on Facebook and you were trying to find these guys, it was hard to find people like that on Facebook.
Nah.
I
I've
couldn't
always
find
been.
them.
I ain't never done Instagram. I mean, everything I post on Facebook goes to Instagram, but I really don't. Instagram's where people go to hide so they can't get called out.
It seemed like that's where everybody kept calling. Like, hey, man, you got Instagram? You got Instagram? Like, Instagram. And I didn't have it at the time.
Right.
I was a Facebook guy. But then I got pulled over to Instagram because it seemed like that's where everybody was.
Right, and that's I don't think it's as easy to.
I think they're more lax there too. Like you in Facebook, you'll get your ass put in jail.
Well,
it's saying the wrong available.
So
or
here's the
looking
thing
for a
on
home. That's
on
all you gotta
Instagram.
say.
When you scroll through, you just see the pictures. You don't see all the comments, right?
Right.
Well, when you go on Facebook, you see somebody lighting somebody up in the comments as you're scrolling through your news feed. So people don't like that. They like to go where that comment just ain't in everybody's face, and they can get rid of it before 9 million people screenshot it because it's on their news feed and it's just popping up everywhere. So I think they like to go hide on Instagram because it's less likely to get. A post can be made and deleted before you even know it. Freaking, there was something bad on it. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know.
How much do you think if you were starting out today, how much should you focus on social media? Because I personally think for when you first get started, it really don't mean shit. Like you just need to concentrate on your deal. You're gonna sell mostly pet homes to your family, your neighbors.
Man, and that's
you got to build it, but
I don't know.
It can't be. I don't think it's
4 or 5 years ago.
I'm gonna tell
That's
people
what
this.
it was about. Everybody was buying and breeding to you. So, I'm glad you brought that up. Because on my way over here, I was thinking about something. Seemed like lock-ins don't damn near went to shit.
Oh, they're gone.
Lock-ins went to shit, bro. What happened to lock-ins?
You're buying studs fees now for what lock-ins were.
It's
Yes.
PIF, bro. It's paid in full now. People are not buying stud fees until it's time to breed to the fucking
Ric
dog.
Flair's lock-in was $1,000. They're doing $1,000 flash sales on stud now.
Yeah, bro.
That was
That's what-
Flair's lock-in
It was-
when he started.
It was different back. I remember having to pay stud fees and pay lock-ins at an early price to get it because there's only 5 spots at this price to lock it in today from this date to this date.
Oh, that's a scam.
And then they got, but see, back then
it's a ploy. I
they
don't
used
know
to
if
fill
it's
it up. They used
It's
to
not a
fill it up.
scam, but it is.
It's bullshit.
So,
because
and I ain't gonna lie, I'm guilty of it. You
because
put
they'll
out
sell
there.
15 of
The
those
dog
5
would be-
spots.
That's
You know
what
that,
I
right?
was fixing
The
to
dog
say.
would be 3 months old.
Oh
3
yeah.
months old.
Yeah.
I mean, hella
Don't
quick.
talk shit about me.
Hella quick. I'm just saying. That
But
shit was tough back then, bro.
But that was the deal. You know, you put up,
$5,000
okay, I'm
stud
only going to
fee.
put 5 spots out at this amount.
$1,000 lock-in.
Well, nobody
$5,000
knows how
stud
many
fee.
people really lock that dog
Yeah,
in for that.
you get 5 lock-ins before you take one of them off the board.
Right.
Each one of those marks on the board is worth 5
right,
lock-ins.
you
So
know,
it's 25 lock-ins.
I mean,
but
that was a
bullshit.
marketing tactic, but like I tell everybody, I was selling dogs for $20,000. I only had 78 people on Facebook, you know what I'm saying? But you had to be smart enough to use your friends because I had people that had 3,000-4,000 friends on Facebook, and I'm like, you don't even know 3,000 or 4,000 people in real life. But okay. But if you tag them, you automatically picked up all their friends to see that post.
Right.
So I thought, well, I don't need all these people I don't know on Facebook. I can just tag these people, and it worked for a long time. And hence the same thing when I got ready to push Flair is I needed attention. What's the best way to get attention? You talk crap to one of the bigger breeders. If they acknowledge it, now all of their friends on their social media or everybody that's following them on their social media.
You was out there pulling that Jake Paul, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, instantly
See, I
go
always-
to your page.
But see, I'm gonna be honest with you. That's another thing that I paid attention to when I first came in. I saw a lot of the bullshit that was smoke and mirrors, bruh. When I first came, I said, "Oh, I see what to do. This shit all about." You know what? I ain't even gonna give up the game like that. I'm gonna leave it at that. But I said, I see what to do though.
I thought all of it's
shit.
bullshit.
I know
But
a lot of
you
shit
brought
people
up-
did to be able to pretty much it was like baiting. It was baiting people in to want to breed to the dog.
But here's the thing, because you brought up Jake Paul, and me and Benny had a conversation about this earlier. Everybody loved to see him get knocked out this
Hey,
weekend.
you see, he talking. He pissed though, because homie didn't follow the script.
But it doesn't matter. He got a
Homie
broke
didn't follow
jaw.
the script. Hey, but that's what happened when you want to make an example
So-
out of somebody. You don't give a fuck about the money. If I really don't like you,
But if you were
I'm not gonna follow the script. So if, say I need you and I want to get my name up, and I say, hey, bro, let's act like we which a lot of people do it, and we see it and we know it. Hey, bro, let's go at each other online, even though we know this shit ain't real. We gonna make it seem real.
you just gonna keep calling me out
It's-
today.
I'm
Yeah,
just
that's
saying,
what I was thinking. That
I
when
mean,
he
it's
said, I said,
nothing-
damn,
hey.
he's mad about the bread not bought.
Nah,
shit.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah,
He come loaded
he's
to get
coming
your
at me
ass
hard
today.
today.
Nah, bro, I'm just being real. Like it's but this is everything in the entire world, from politics to business. I don't give a fuck. Burger King and McDonald's, the owners fucking sit in the same room and
Well,
drink fucking
that-
wine.
that
bro.
really ain't where I
Drink
was
fucking
going with
scotch.
that.
But I'm just saying, if you do it, it brings attention to everybody. It's like controversy sells, because people don't fuck with nothing positive most of the time anyway. People like bullshit.
But if you go,
So, but if you look at it, so boxing was on its way out. You know what I'm saying? Jake Paul's done all of this, whether his fights are rigged, scripted, or whatever. Everybody's tuning in to watch, right? But he is the name buzzing, right? And let's use him as a top stud in the game of the Frenchie game. You get a stud out there that's buzzing, well, then every other body that used to have a stud that was buzzing now wants to talk shit about you, and they're praying for your downfall. They're taking shots. They're making up lies. They're doing all kinds of stuff just to see that dog fail or that person fail, and it's ridiculous, because every time somebody comes out with a stud and it generates attention, it changes the market. It brings the market back up. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, if Jake Paul comes out of this, right, and he says, piss on it, I don't care anymore about the money per se, because I'm not the top guy that everybody's wanting to see, because he ain't going to be able to fight because his jaw broke.
He's got to become a real fighter at that
So he's
point.
like, you know what? I'm just going to put on shows for $1,000 a pop, because piss on everybody. I don't care about the market anymore.
Right.
That's where we are in the dog game is now. The people that
Now,
used to get
that's-
$8,000, $9,000, $10,000
Is that
for a
right or wrong?
stud.
Is it right or wrong though?
it's the way it is.
Is it
It
right
don't
or
matter
wrong?
if it's right or
Nah,
wrong.
in your eyes, is it right or wrong? See, this is my thing.
All I'm going to say is, are they going to get mad when I do $500 flash sales on Flair?
That's what I'm saying. Is it right or wrong?
You
But
know,
it don't
Right or
matter.
wrong.
That's what I'm saying. But when you do that, it don't matter right or wrong. It's what it is.
it is.
And you ain't breaking a law.
All right,
Right.
let's
Then
tell me this.
it's
Is there
what it is.
there a right or wrong to it? Because I don't think it is. I'm gonna be real.
There's not, as long as you don't follow
Now-
that post up with bitching at somebody killing the market.
I was just about to say. Now, at
Well,
one
there's,
point,
there's a difference between right or wrong and being a bitch, though.
Right.
That's
but
being a
I
bitch.
think at one point it was fucked up to do it. I think at one back in the
Here's
day,
my thing is, these people that are doing it nowadays
it's cool. It's
were the very people telling the new breeders that was trying to push a new stud, y'all are just screwing up our market. Y'all are just screwing up our market. They didn't screw up the market. If you had what somebody wanted, they were going to pay what you wanted
man.
for it.
It's about where you live at, bruh. See, this is how I feel about it. I don't think nobody can control the market anywhere. If I live here in East Texas, where I live at, the cost of living, the prices of things are a certain price around here. So if I make a certain amount of money, it's real good. You feel me? If I don't, then it's still cool, because there's still a certain amount of money that's still pretty cool to live in the area I'm in.
Right.
So I don't always have to go with what everybody's going with. But I tend to do that, don't get me wrong. But I think there's people out here that don't have to. So if you don't have to make $5,000 for some sperm, and that's not what pays your bills, then guess what?
And I think
I don't
that's
give a fuck,
it's
because
great
that's-
in an aspect of controlling your area, but
You gonna sell your car for what you want to sell your
Right.
car for. I'm gonna sell my car for what I want to sell
Yes.
my car for, bro. That shit never. People like, it's kind of like what I was saying before. People gotta quit being stuck on what everybody in the world is doing. Whatever works for you works for you. Whatever works in your yard works in your yard. do that shit, bro.
I
That shit don't
agree with
control
that,
no-
and
shit
it
ain't
is,
control no market. It ain't controlling mine. I don't give a fuck.
It's one of them things where today there is so many tools to figure out where's the best place area to sell stud fees or dogs.
Yeah.
What part of the country's hopping right now? Which
It's
part of the
always going to be dogs,
Right.
Because the studs are. There can't be as many studs as breeders,
Right.
Like that just don't make any sense. So it's always going to be. If you're starting out, you got to concentrate on your stock.
and that was the thing. There used to not be tons and tons of studs. You know what I'm saying? There was camps that can kind of controlled the stud market, but there wasn't. I mean, there probably was studs, but nobody really paid attention because everybody went to the DNA studs, the bigger studs, and all of that. Well, once everybody caught up with studs, they or DNA, everybody started keeping studs because, well, now I have the exact same DNA as this top breeder. And a lot of times the smaller camps even had a better structured DNA dog than what was out there. But you got to think that the people that came out with the DNA first, their dogs was not always the greatest. But if you wanted the DNA, that's where you had to go because they were at the beginning of the market. But I don't know. I just don't think studs are great if you're going to use them on your yard. If you think you're going to get them and you're going to make a bunch of money,
right.
man, you got to have that stud. I mean, Flair was that stud. Teddy Grahams was that stud. YOLO was that stud. King Kong was that stud. Shaq was that stud.
I still think
Everybody's just got a stud now, though. You know what I'm
But
saying?
you got to know where you're going to start in your market, though. In all seriousness,
that's
like
what I'm
you're not
saying.
going to
It
go
depends on
buy
what level you expect him to
tomorrow.
be
You're
on.
not going to go buy a dog, especially now.
Well, me
You're
and
not-
T-Rod talked about this the other night. He's got people that will use Flair Grams because T-Rod owns him. But I would never get to those customers because they're just not my.
So you have to recognize that if you're starting
Right.
off, you can't
that's
you
what I'm
can't come
saying.
buy flare grams
Right.
and think that
It's a
that
supply-
I'm going
it's
to make money
supply-
off
Right.
this dog
Right.
if you don't have that
It's
connection. You
supply.
don't have
Now,
that
I
market.
have people that want to use this dog, but
Right.
90% of them people are, I got to ship to. They're somewhere else and they've used Flair or they're looking for a pied or they, you know what I'm saying? They're waiting for him to be ready to work to use him. But as I just moved to the Tyler area a year ago, I don't know a whole lot of people around here.
It's supply and demand.
Y'all have lived around here y'all's whole life, so it's easier for y'all to know people that knows people that
you
when
might
they
like
go
to-
out, they're, you know what I'm saying? Even when y'all's friends or y'all's families go out and they see her, they hear somebody, hey, I know somebody who wants a Frenchie or whatever. Well, hey, go see my brother or go see T-Rod or go see whoever. You know what I'm saying?
But see,
That's
that's
not
a-
how it worked though for me, because like the people I know ain't Frenchy people.
Right.
I grew up they big dog people.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like when I got these Frenchies, like I take them to Tractor Supply, I take them to. Well, I know a lot of people like take them in Walmart, but I ain't got over that hill yet because they got food in there, and I just feel like that's rude behavior
Right.
grown up. But I mean, I do take them to town with me all the time. They go through drive-throughs, they yell and scream at the workers.
See, this-
And that's how we get people
It's a
that knows.
that's why you going where I'm going with it. See, it's a promotion thing, bro. It's supply and demand. It's drugs all over the world.
Right.
It ain't a place. It ain't a town in the world that ain't got drugs and somebody that got it there. You
Right.
see what I'm saying? But if you got it, that's what matters. Is if
you have
got
to
it.
make people know you got it.
Right. And about where you and it's about what's in your town. If this shit ain't in my town, this dog is
Right.
not in my area. So nobody around here has that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Nobody. So if you gotta get it, you gotta come here to get it around here.
And let's not kid. I mean, the Flair Grams being
Whether you
pied
had
was
him or
one of the
whether
reasons
had
I
him.
bought him
Yeah,
because
whether I had him or you had him. He
nobody
was gonna
had
do his
it.
thing here if people just had to have the resource to see him.
Right.
So like you said, but that's another thing. On my side, it's the same thing. I could have him here, but I'm still limited to the people that I know. So for me to still do certain things with him, it's gonna still go through you.
right, and I
So it's
tell
a give
people
and
this all the
take.
time too. Flair made me lazy in the stud game. Flair made me lazy because I don't have to promote Flair anymore.
Right.
people know who he is, people knows what he does, and people know where to get a hold of me to use him. Promoting his days are done and over. I mean, I throw him up every now and then, but so now we got 24 Karat. Now I really have to promote this dog and tell people what he is and who he is, and
But if you
I'm
notice,
just
I don't
too
post.
fucking
if you
lazy to
notice,
do
I
it.
don't- But if you notice, I don't post much, bro. I don't make posts every week, every day on my timeline. Now my story, I do on my story.
So-
that's a daily thing.
So it's two different things though, right? Like the question about social media, it's two different categories. Because if I ask you how many puppies you've sold through social media, the number's probably pretty high. Because for me, that's a big contact point. But stud fees, no. Like it's crazy because the people that use like Hoss and Teddy and them other, and even Rubble now,
Yeah.
like that come from going into town. Like there is nobody on the. There's one person in Ohio that I sold stud fee. Every other stud fee for me, a small breeder, came off of actual contact in public.
Well, my first stud fees came from here. One, because it was my father-in-law with his female.
I don't want to say they don't count, but that's not
That
in the
don't
same
count.
category.
And then I had you. But then I had you. But see, that's what I'm saying. I never.
No, I count. I count.
Right.
Because,
I never, bro. I never. When I first got into this game, I told myself, don't bank on anybody around here spending money with you on this kind of money, because nobody around here was doing that kind of shit. This shit wasn't even big across the internet at the time when I first got into it. You're not. You had to know where to go to look at it. You see what I'm saying? It was a whole nother world. It wasn't as big as it is now. So at that time, I'm thinking, I'm going to get the dogs. I'm just going to market online, and I'm trying to have dogs in all 50 states. You know what I'm saying?
And
So-
people don't believe this, but you can over market a stud.
well, yeah, you get tired of seeing.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it was a mistake or not, and I don't know that it really hurt me. Well, it may have, because I've never sold a stud feed to Flair in Colorado. But I was the cover group for the Colorado group, the cover photo for the Colorado group for like fucking 5 months, 6 months in a row with Flair. They do the little photo contest, most likes. Everybody liked it. I mean, nobody from Colorado liked it. But my followers went there and liked it and always made him the cover photo of that. But in the end, I never sold a stud feed to Flair in Colorado. And it's weird, and it bugs me to this day that I ain't sold a stud feed to him in that state. But I think back and I wonder, did I make a lot of breeders up there sour? Because, I mean, I even went up there.
Well, I mean,
we won.
there's a homer mentality. There's nothing wrong with that, but that's a real thing. Like I mean, if you're from Texas, you're more Texas than you are American.
see-
Right.
Like if you was born and bred here,
Right.
like it's just that way. Like that, they're like our flag can fly
You know
higher
what
than
most of my dogs
than
are sold off of? From anything from stud fees or anything, from puppies to anything. And I'll say this, in all the years of breeding, I've never DNA tested a puppy. Never had to DNA test a puppy to
Now,
sell
T-Rod,
one.
that's why you don't know if you're fixing to have some rojos or not.
Right.
I'm just saying.
I'm being honest. But yeah, it's because it's a pup I kept in
So
house.
you one of them parents that won't
No, what
that
I'm
won't
saying-
reveal
what
the
I'm-
sex at a sonogram. You're like, no, I
what
won't
I'm
be
saying
surprised.
is-
I'm gonna have
what
a
I'm
boy or
saying is
girl.
because people will tell you that you can't do or be successful without certain things. It's not about now in a certain other sense, I wouldn't be able to sell these pups to everybody. You get what I'm saying? Because a lot of people won't buy them not knowing the DNA.
But you bought DNA dogs to start with,
Right.
So you have to do. If you bought a dog that wasn't clear, you wouldn't know that, and you'd be breeding dogs that theoretically could develop problems later. But you bought dogs that were clear. Not everybody's doing that,
Right.
So you have to do the testing.
But
there is
yeah,
you
right,
have
right.
to.
Well, yeah, we have to a certain extent, right? But what I'm saying is, as far as like blood, as far as like the traits, as far as like testable and things like that, that's not been something big as far as my sales go. You see what I'm saying? DNA has not been the thing that has necessarily sold my dogs for as what they carry.
Oh,
or what
I don't care about the
A lot
selling
of people
part,
buy
man,
my
but
dogs based off what they see.
I ain't
the
keeping a dog
look
that
like.
ain't gonna get me where I want
Or
to go.
what really has probably sold my dog is the way I take care of them.
Right. I mean, and
That's what I sold stud feeds based off that. People just see how I take care of my dogs.
like there's not a chance in hell of me selling a dog without DNA. I mean, everybody just expects it out of me. You know what I'm saying? And
I haven't sold
my price range
I haven't
demands
sold to a lot
that
of
I do
breeders,
it.
though.
And it's such,
but I
you
haven't
know,
sold to a lot of breeders.
and and well, I hadn't either, but like the
That's-
dogs
that's
I
the key.
keep
See,
are
you
based
sold
off
to-
of
you
what.
you sold to breeders.
Right.
See, that's what people fail to realize. You may not always sell to breeders. Know your
Oh,
lane.
you're not
you
going
gotta
to.
know your lane. You gotta know your
Well,
lane.
you know, my pet homes and the lower dogs, I don't even give a shit, and I don't even discuss DNA
so
with
does
somebody.
DNA matter? Right? Does
You know,
DNA matter? At
the
that
cheaper
point?
you want the
It
dog, the
did
less I'm
matter
going to.
because the dogs, the parents of that dog were tested.
Right.
So you know that you might
I know
not
what's
need
in
to
the
test
dog.
traits,
Right.
but you know you're selling a healthy
Right.
dog.
Right.
That it does matter for that.
As far as the health goes, but I'm saying as far as the
Well, I mean, it's all
the
DNA,
color
bro.
traits go, what the dog carries never fucking matters to these people because they buy the dogs based off, is it healthy? And I love the way that dog looks.
Yes.
I love that color. I like if it's fluffy, I like the hair or whatever the case may be. You see what I'm saying? Not based off.
I'm gonna break it to you though. It's all the same price.
Yeah.
So
But-
if you test for colors, you gonna get the health, and if you
Right,
test for the health,
right.
you gonna get the colors. It's all the
what
same
I'm saying
price.
is
So
I
if you
don't
look
sell
at-
dogs based off DNA a lot of times.
the other thing people need to realize when they're selling
So don't let
puppies,
that be your breeding point. Breed to dogs sometimes that have the things that complement your female to make dogs that look good.
right? So
If you got color in your dogs and you got color in the male, then guess what? You're gonna get some nice colored dogs.
Right.
Don't worry about trying to just create Rojos or just trying to create new shades or is it because guess what? It's a million fucking new shades out here right now. It's a million of them. So if you concentrate just on that, you finna put yourself in a different lane.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying. That's when the sales get harder. Now if
Well,
you don't
and
have a name,
a lot of
now you
people
can't
don't
sell that
understand the
dog like
difference
Kevin.
between a breeder and a non-breeder.
You can't sell that dog for the price Kevin sells it for when you got new shades now because your new shades ain't Kevin new shades. You see
Right.
what I'm saying?
That's-
so realize your lane. If you coming in at a certain point, don't come in this motherfucker trying to create these dogs to sell. Create them to put in your camp to use to create dogs and build with.
That's
don't try to use that shit and say, I'm finna go create a $10,000 dog and it's finna sell. No, the fuck it's not. It's not finna sell for $10,000 because it's a new shade, bro. Because you have it. You're not somebody else. You get what I'm saying? It just depends on.
If
Now, if you spend the money on certain other DNA, that's
Yeah.
a different story. You know what I'm saying? If you go get the top shit that's out right now.
So if you're going to sell a puppy to a pet home, the last thing that person should ask you is, what colors does that dog
because
carry?
that means that you ain't finna do pet. You finna try to breed.
You see, so that's the key to, and I tell people that all the time because I get them in my inbox and they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, what's the pet price?" Well, that ain't a whole lot different than my regular price, but I'll give you a little
I shave a
discount.
little off. That's it.
Well, what's the dog's DNA? Well, that doesn't matter no more because you want it as a pet.
Right.
You're not even getting the papers. You're not
Right.
getting.
We're not talking about.
We're not talking about none of that. There's no need in talking that question anymore.
You don't give them limited papers.
I don't give them no papers.
Oh, I give them the limited.
Nah, they
That
ain't
way
getting
feel
limited.
Like, that way
I
they
don't
feel
give a
something.
fuck.
Nah, they ain't getting shit for a pet. They wanted a pet. A pet does not require papers
It doesn't, but I give them to them because it's kind of like buying a car
because
with
it
a
makes them
title.
feel warm and fuzzy.
Yeah, you goddamn right. And that's
I'm
what
not
it's
in
about.
the- I'm not in the market to making somebody feel warm and fuzzy. My dogs are warm and fuzzy. Just be happy you got one.
Put it like this. It's kind of like this. If it's midnight and you got the title to the car, but we never signed the back of that motherfucker, and now you trying to sell it to somebody else, well, guess what? Y'all both can sign the back of it, but without my signature at the top, that shit is invalid. I still own the fucking car. You get what I'm saying? So just because you give somebody limited papers, it don't mean shit. They can't do anything with the fucking dog at that point. still.
Exactly. So why waste my time giving them papers and having to explain to them how to register it and them?
I guess they feel like it's a receipt or something. I mean,
I'll give them a receipt.
They want an AKC receipt.
When somebody pays that much for a pet, I feel like they
want
it's
an
just,
AKC
it's just
receipt.
it just legitimizes
It's
it.
standard.
It's a mental thing. It's perceived value.
Yeah.
It really adds or subtracts no value from the dog. It's neutral.
Like
Here's
said,
what
the
you
pet
run
price ain't
into
gonna be no different
when
much
you do
different
that.
than the real price.
Now they think their dog is papered. And somewhere down the road, you're going to get that message of, hey, I'm trying to register a litter off of this dog. You gave me the papers, but it's not letting me register a litter off of this dog. No, because you didn't have breeding rights. If they never have a number to register with AKC because they have a pet, then you never have to worry about that phone call at midnight because they can't figure out how to register a litter that they ain't even supposed to been breeding a dog with.
Say you get a smart ass that know how to do all that, and they just say you got a smart ass that ain't tripping on papers and they sell pets. What do you do then? Because you wasn't supposed to breed the dog anyway. I didn't give you breeding rights.
At some point, you just can't. You know,
You
you
can't
just
control all of it, but I can control where the papers
I
are.
know you can't, but what I'm saying is, because I've never seen anybody take the steps to do it. But there's probably cases where you should.
You can put it in the contract that the dog's supposed to be fixed.
But you're not gonna pay a lawyer and go fight somebody.
That's
what
you
I'm-
get
nah,
there.
that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
That's
Sometimes-
them
'cause that
contracts.
what
Them
costs.
contracts are to protect the reader.
That's
Period.
what I'm saying.
100%. So you can lay down a line. This is what I am obligated to do and cover.
Right.
In case they sue you.
But see,
Period. It don't do shit to help
but see
you
what I'm
get your
saying?
dog
Now-
back or nothing like that
But
because
what
the
if
expense
you get
involved.
a major breeder? What if you get with a major breeder? What if it's some?
But we talking about people starting like they're not
Right.
gonna be fucking.
No.
Them major breeders are not coming to me to buy my dog.
Well, and
That's
the
a
other
lie.
thing
That's
is,
a lie. That is a lie. I'm gonna tell
That-
you why. Because how many times have we seen dogs that come out of the woodwork where it came from somebody that you had never heard of, and the dog became a major dog once it got in the hands of somebody else?
I don't
He
know.
bought it
Tell
from a
me.
smaller breeder.
Tell me who.
It's people out there.
I need an
Teddy
example.
Grahams,
Teddy Grahams.
Okay, he bought. where he-
Willy Wonka.
So they were bought from smaller breeders. Were they bought from smaller breeders?
I thought they come from the UK.
They were from smaller breeders.
Yeah.
Cause I didn't know they were bought from smaller breeders, but I know there are
Shortstop.
dogs out there
What
came-
is that dude's? Is it shortstop?
See, I
Fritz?
thought-
Yeah, it
I
was
thought I
shortstop.
but I thought I just never had seen him before. I had never heard of him or never had seen him till he made that sale with Isaac.
That's
But-
it.
But I didn't know he was a small breeder. I thought he was just a person that I never had came in contact with or came across online.
Yeah, didn't nobody know him. And then the John.
So
dude
nobody knew him at all. He was until that sale.
pretty much. I mean, I'm sorry, but still nobody knows him today.
See, I thought he was, I thought he was
everybody
actually- so how did he run-
associates Teddy Grahams with Isaac.
So then, how did he run across him to get that dog though? What?
I'm sure the dude
Listen,
made a
look at the
post or hit
time.
somebody that knows somebody.
He had a goddamn rojo like
Yeah, but-
in that time. Like
Right.
Anybody was gonna know that. I'm talking about.
Isaac probably made a post looking for a Rojo, and this dude probably hit him up. You know what I'm saying?
But we ain't there no more. If you starting now, the likelihood of that, for starters, the likelihood of that happening for that guy at that time was slim. Now, it's on the none side.
Because I'm saying if he was nobody, what's the likelihood of Isaac following him or being friends with him online?
But
He probably
and
would.
paying-
You don't
and
understand
paying
it.
actually
he probably
attention
wasn't.
to him?
Somebody probably told him.
Yes, that's the thing. He probably went to a show or one of his buddies that knew a buddy that. And again, Isaac probably made a post or something looking for a Rojo or put fillers out through his people. You know what I'm saying? When you have a following like an Isaac or a Mo or a Justin Crawford, you can find what you want anytime you want. You can just tell people, hey, I'm looking for this.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's going to jump out of the woodworks to show you their dogs, right?
Because it's gonna benefit them to make a sale to you,
Right,
Okay,
you
I
know,
get it.
so-
all right.
That's how they find these dogs. And
I
I don't
just
want to.
didn't-
I don't want.
didn't-
Look, I
I'll-
don't want to sell the guy that created Teddy Graham short.
Sure, right.
It's say he's not nothing and he ain't done nothing because obviously
He created-
he
he
done
did
something
something to
right
create
because
that dog, right.
he was there with
I'm
the
just saying.
Rojos
I'm just
at the
saying he may
beginning.
not have been at the top of the height where everybody. knew.
That's what I'm saying. And
but-
even while
But I didn't. But what I'm saying is, I didn't think that he was. I thought maybe he was like,
Mid-tier.
mid level, like just somebody I just didn't
what did
know.
he-
But he
what
was.
did he
But
do?
he was up there, like
and that's and I kind of fall into this category too
Oh man,
because
Bandit.
I was about to
Bandit's
say,
the
I
same-
kind of looked at him like
okay.
I looked
Yep.
at you.
Bandit
I was about
is
to
the
say, I kind of
example
looked at him
we're
like I
looking
looked at you. Like, okay, this is a guy that had every fucking thing. I just had never seen him, but he's been fucking around and he had some shit.
It's a-
That's what I thought.
So like the example that I guess you should have used is Bandit, because if you say Bandit, who do 90% of people in the world
I knew
think
him from-
owns Bandit? Not how you knew him.
Right.
But how everybody else on
Aaron
Facebook
J.
knows. Exactly.
Right.
But that's not who produced him.
Right.
Right.
Do you know who you know who produced
Yeah, I
him?
know
Because
it
I messed
now.
with him.
I know
right.
that now
But,
because
but,
right.
But
yeah.
nobody knew.
But I didn't know that at
Everybody
first,
just
right.
assumed Aaron produced the dog and
I did, yeah.
Angela and
then I
Manny
met them
bought
later,
in
yeah.
on the
Yeah.
dog.
And if I hadn't met you, I wouldn't have met them, and I wouldn't know that still to this
And
day.
same for
I
me.
would've
If I hadn't met
I would have
them,
thought
I
and
that
would've
and,
Manny
and,
and
and,
bought
for
into that.
I
dog.
thought that,
I thought-
until
yeah.
Benny told me, oh no, they produced it and Aaron came in
Or
on
did they
it.
produce it together, or did they
No.
produce the
No,
dog?
he bought into Bandit is off of
They
direct
bred
deposit.
to direct deposit and
Yes.
created Bandit, and then
And then Aaron J bought in.
Aaron J bought
Okay.
into it. So
yeah.
Got you.
that
Okay.
that's what I'm saying. And here was my point earlier: as you can't buy the hype, or you can't artificially get it. Just because you produce a dog and you become partners with one of the more well knowns, you run the risk of you have to make a decision. Do I just want it because I want the money, or am I okay with them having all the glory to my dog?
Yeah,
Right?
that's kind of what we
Because I
talked
will
about
be
last
true if
episode.
Right.
I will be truthful. Had I not known you, met them at the show, and didn't know more of the inside of the situation, looking from the outside in, I would have looked at it the way I've looked at a lot of situations. I would have been like, well, fuck, who really owns the dog? Because a lot of times you used to see studs, and you see 10 people promoting it in different groups saying it's
when
their
when did
stud.
you find out that Shortstop Frenchies was a part of Teddy Grahams?
Right now, it's today. He
Ab-
was today
Well,
years
he
old.
did, they did a video. They did a video, and it was on YouTube, and he was at his house.
Yeah, they
was
used to
at
do a lot of
Shortstop's
cross
house.
stuff.
Right.
Like when I was
That was
looking
the
for
first
a
time I
stud.
seen Shortstop then, but the dog had already been out
For a
little
long
bit.
time.
Yeah,
You know,
and,
and,
then
I don't want to take nothing away from. Again, I'm not taking nothing away from
And
this
then I
guy.
seen Shortstop
But
at
if
the
you
show
get in
at
partners
Frenchie
with
Bowl.
somebody that has a big name, they're going to overshadow you.
And that's what they bring.
That's
They're
what
supposed to.
they bring.
But I'm about
And
to
it's
say
up
a
to
give and
you
but it's a
to
give and
catch
take
up to them.
relationship. Just like I was telling you with having flagrams. For me, I might know people here, and you see a benefit here, but that's only a limit as well. I probably benefit more because you got a bigger following. You're bigger as a breeder than me, so I'll probably benefit more in the long run because I'll gain those people that you have at some point, maybe. Some of them,
Yes.
maybe not all of them,
Well,
but
and-
I'll gain somebody from being associated with you and having a co-on with you. I'll gain somebody because I already have. I may not gain everybody or half of those people. Like you said, I can't buy the hype. You see what I'm saying? So,
But it's yours to take and do with what you want. With, you know what I'm saying?
but if I do the right things,
I'm a tool, right?
Right. That's where I'm going.
Well,
with it.
now that's a
It's
different
about-
discussion.
Well,
That's where I'm going. With
it's
it.
not the
all
first time
about-
I've ever been called a tool.
I know you
But see,
said
that's
it.
where I'm
It's-
going
But
with
this
that.
is a different
That's where I'm going
version
with
of
that.
it.
If you do this with somebody, it's not ever a bad thing on either end, whether you buy into the dog and you're the name, or whether you're not the name and you're the smaller breeder and you buy into the dog.
Right.
Either or, it's still a good relationship if y'all both do the right things by each other in a relationship, because at the end of the day, it's beneficial for everybody. But you just got to do what you're supposed to do with it. Now, I feel like I kind of got, I got what I got going with my thing. You know what I'm saying? Certain people fool with me, certain people don't. I got a cool little following. It's nothing major.
And that's what I was trying to say. So, Shortstop Frenchies took a shot at me one time.
Okay.
Well, he hadn't heard.
You know
he
what?
Didn't know.
You know what my response to him was? I mean, we were well into this Rojo war before I even realized there was a Shortstop Frenchies involved in Teddy Grahams, right?
Right.
Who the fuck are you?
See, I knew him before.
That's my only response to.
See, that video was out
Who the
before
fuck
Frenchie
are you?
Bowl.
You know?
And I seen the video, and they were at the house together, and then I seen him at Frenchie Bowl at the table where everybody was at when you first came and you brought Flair to the table.
But who was holding Teddy Grahams on the table?
Yeah.
But that's who's supposed to. That's who's supposed to. Like, that's what.
But I
you
knew
don't-
who he was.
You don't
back-
go get a
that's what I'm saying,
shark
but the
to
reason
make
I
him
knew
stand
who
in the
he
background.
was-
Right,
Like,
but
if you got a shark, if you bring a shark in, like you want that somebody
don't-
to
So
go kill.
see,
you
but-
know I partnered with Alex Lee
Yeah.
on Flair, right?
Yeah,
Alex Lee was the bigger name,
But see, I didn't know that shit to the show.
right? I mean,
I
because
was
it happened
I
the
knew
week
you- I
of
knew-
the show.
I'm seeing you online with the dog. I knew of Alex Lee, but at the show, I'll be honest with you. This was my opinion, and I can be totally wrong. And this ain't nothing toward Alex, but I'm just gonna give you the God honest truth because I ain't gonna speak no lie because I don't give a fuck. I thought that all of a sudden at the show, y'all must have done something at the show because you had Teddy Grahams and you had Willy Wonka. And I said, well, with him having the name that he's got, he has no dog here at the show. I hadn't seen a dog of his at all. So I was like, he's trying to be in on this to have something great at the show because he's a name at the show.
Literally,
you see what I'm saying?
the week of the show, we made the deal.
Okay, then. So there you go. And I'm just telling you, that was my opinion because
But-
at that point in time, nobody was trying to be in on fucking Ric Flair. I seen nobody try to say, oh, yeah, Ric Flair is this, Ric Flair is that. No, the dog was just being promoted by you, by your fucking self. I was seeing them do their thing, and then you came and brought the dog to the table on your own, and then later on, Alex brought the dog to the table. So when I seen the banner that y'all was standing under, and I filmed it. It's on
Right.
the footage. I filmed that because I knew that of him being his kennel name,
Right.
and then I just associated y'all together right there at the show because I didn't know your kennel name, but I knew the dog from you.
But who knows when people say Ric Flair today, who is he associated with?
You.
Exactly.
I hadn't seen
Well,
Alex
it's
in a
'cause
while.
Alex Lee's a
Alex
fucking
I
bum,
hadn't-
scam
I hadn't-
artist
But
fuck,
I hadn't seen Alex since the whole.
But
Freaky
here's
Bowl
my
situation.
point behind that. Again, there's two ways to do stuff, and if you're just happy with somebody throwing money at you because they're selling stud fees, wonderful. But if you want everybody to know this is what I done, this is my creation, sooner or later you got to step out from behind that person and say, look, I'm that motherfucker.
But I'll be honest, they had if
Not everybody has that attitude
Well, see,
and
if that's
mentality,
if
though.
that's the case, they had me because I thought he was something. Because I knew of him from seeing that video, and so
Right.
at the show, I automatically knew who he was. And when he was standing there, I was like, okay, he's supposed to be back there because he created the dog
Right.
and he sold it all to Isaac, and he's somebody as well.
Right.
So I actually kind of put my camera.
Maybe
on
it
him
was
as
my
well.
my ignorance,
But
or
I thought they were together, so I thought maybe, man, I thought they knew each other. I thought maybe he was just
maybe just my ignorance
guy
or
that
whatever,
was-
because I was hyper focused on. I threw a lot of shots out. I was trying to see who I could.
Right.
Isaac's the one that bit, and then I knew I had him. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know much about Isaac, but I found out that you can't poke him too much because he'll respond, and that's exactly what I
Well,
wanted.
see, out of everybody, I knew Isaac for a long time. I knew Isaac from the jump.
I knew
Because of
Isaac
Champagne
had
But
champagne
he was
poppy,
the
and
right- but
And
he
then
was
my
the right one,
brother-in-law
though,
bred the Champagne Poppy,
Because
and
like
it was a,
Flair kind of had a second wrist.
Right.
Not kind of did. Like he had his own
Right.
category, and he's working still.
Right.
Teddy Grahams is making a second round too with this Corey
But
Grahams,
see,
Right.
and people are starting
Yes.
to mix his
I
blood
ain't gonna lie.
again. So like
if I had
out
to
of
be
those
honest,
two,
I mimicked a
Right.
lot. Of
those were the
Isaac's-
two that needed to go at it.
right.
I mimicked a lot of. I took a lot of shit from Isaac. Like in the beginning, that's how I knew Isaac. Because my brother-in-law, like I said, he had Champagne Poppy. My brother-in-law was the first person to do a breeding to Champagne Pop. He was one of the first lock-ins.
Yeah.
And I think they did that at the Rumble in the Jungle.
Yeah.
That was before 3.
Right.
And so at that time, I was following him on a lot of social media and seeing him do his thing. And his promotion was fucking out the window. I'm not going to lie. Like, the way he was promoting the dog with the videos and everything, he had me with the shit. Like I said, like I was catching on. I'm like, okay, this dude fucking
But
around. Like, and I
so
watched him- I
Isaac
watched
was
his
kind
growth.
of.
I watched him grow, bro. Because Champagne Poppy.
He started out with Justin. You
Man.
know what I'm saying? Kind of in Justin's shadow.
But see, I didn't know Justin at all. I only knew him and Champagne Poppy, and I seen him on My Breeder's Life, and then, but plus my brother-in-law spoke,
Right.
highly of the dog, and he was gonna breed to
Right.
him. And so I started paying attention, like I said, and then when I started paying attention, his promotion was out the fucking window with
Right.
Champagne Poppy. He was doing the videos.
Oh, he
had the
was,
rose
and
petals with the
you
smoke.
can never take that away from
his
Alec,
promotion was out
Isaac.
the fucking window. So I'm like, man, what the fuck? But then I'm also watching the growth, though. Like I said, I watched Isaac go from not wearing the chains, not having the Porsche, not doing that. I watched him really come up
Right.
and grow with his dogs.
Right.
And so I saw it was motivation. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was really motivation, but it also was a way of promotion. I'm like, okay, I see what's going on. This how you promote. This how you do your thing. So I kind of start taking.
But he was
from
the
him.
He was the new king of the castle, right?
Like, yeah, I took shit. I took I'm
As
not gonna lie
Teddy
to you, I
Grahams
took
and
from him.
Flair and all of them was coming out, he was the new king
I
of the
took
castle.
from it. And I mean, and the dog was nice as fuck. And so I was like, okay, I wanted the blood. I was trying
He
to
was
breed
the-
to it. Shit.
He was
Hell,
the
you
bully
know,
on the schoolyard, right?
I was shit. I didn't know nobody bigger than him at the time. I'm gonna be honest with you.
So,
At that time,
so if
nobody
you're
was
going to
bigger
take
than
a
him.
shot at somebody, you're going to take a shot
But
at.
there was people that were been doing this longer and that were bigger that I just didn't know. Like, you You know, Shaq had been out way longer.
But they
things like
wasn't.
that.
I'm gonna give Isaac all his flowers right now because at that
just
time, Isaac was the hottest kennel in the game.
Fuck yeah, to me was
His
I'll be
promotion,
honest,
all of that.
I'm gonna tell you the three people I knew that I thought was the shit at the time. One of them wasn't even in the same lane. He was flying it. He was in autopilot way over here, doing his thing, and then you had this world. And I'm gonna say, I paid attention to Isaac. I took a heavy liking to Isaac, a heavy liking to George Mosley, my breeder's life.
Yep.
I took a heavy liking to James Choppin. He had a lot of information online, and I took a heavy liking to oh God,
You can say me. It's okay.
what's the other guy? Shit. I'll think of it in a minute. But anyway, it was like 4 people that I took a heavy liking to because of the way they were doing their thing. And like I said, and at that time, these were the only people you were seeing on YouTube or anything, going to shows, doing their thing, and actually giving you the real inside of, you know, putting things in the shipping boxes, doing this, doing that, and and you really seeing behind the scenes shit like nobody else was
talking about
showing
Breeders
you
Live. I'm sorry, Breeder Hacks.
Yeah,
you know he's
Breeders
done.
Live. See, Breeders Hack, I wasn't even seeing him at the time.
But he's done now.
See, but he came later on. Like nobody was showing you. And then you had it was just damn. I just had his name on there when you said Breeders Hack. But anyway, like those were the people I paid attention to, and then I just kind of formed my shit around that. And just kind of put my own little spin to it because at that time, bro, that's all you were seeing. But like I said, I thought that other guy was really, you know what I'm saying, somebody I just hadn't came in contact with because I was still new in the game. So I didn't know that.
So to kind of bring it back,
But
if you were starting out, what would be your, because how long we've been at this?
Yeah, we need to start wrapping this one up. But
Yeah, so if you were starting out, like what would be just your short and curly advice to somebody that's brand new and you're in this market, not the other bullshit from what we're talking about.
The hype.
It's right now.
Don't just jump straight to the hype for one. Because like I said, I followed a lot of shit. And like I said, I took a heavy liking to. Not saying that it didn't help and that it wasn't good, but I got sucked into it a little too much. I'll be honest with you. Don't follow the hype. Spend the money. Build your own shit. Do what you think is best for you. Don't do what you see everybody else doing. Don't breed to a dog because everybody else is breeding to it, because that's not gonna be your sell point in today's market all the time. Breed to a dog that you like.
just gonna keep taking shots at me all the
No,
time.
man, I'm just
fucking with you.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like that's because everybody.
He wasn't here to defend himself last time.
Right.
He just get his get back right
Yeah,
now.
I'm just saying. I got dogs that even for me, I could have a dog that everybody said, well, damn, a lot of people's breeding to that dog. I want to breed to it too because everybody's got that. That's how you flood the market. And then what happens is, if you don't have a certain dog, now Flair might have stood up to the challenge. My stud might not stand up to the challenge. He might have a quick run.
Right.
So if I flood the market with him now, his
But-
run is over real fucking quick.
And that's
You
the
get what I'm
point
saying?
that in the end, I
His run
wouldn't
is
keep
over
a stud because unless I had a lot of
How
females
many
on
of
my
them are
yard.
still around? Like we said the last conversation, how many of them studs are still around? Quick runs.
Well,
I can name a lot of
guess-
studs
okay,
from
so
back at that
let's
time when I
don't
first came
digress.
in.
I'm
You
talking
can't
about.
find them now.
I'm not talking
Right.
about having a stud
Right.
that you're going to go
So,
hot to go nuclear with. I'm
this-
talking about, would you have a stud for in-house breeding?
No.
Just fuck all
Yes.
the
No.
fuck all the dumb stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the advice you give.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not talking about. Let's don't get back on the
Right.
Isaac train and stuff like that. It is if you're telling your brother or somebody they want to get in, what are you telling them? You're telling them obviously that they need a stud. So what advice would you give them on finding a stud? Not following the hype, not following like what kind of structure, what kind of DNA. Like this is the bare minimum I would allow in if I'm going to use a stud
Now,
for in-house breeding.
I'm not going to say don't follow the hype totally. That's not what I'm going to tell somebody. I'm going to tell somebody
But hype don't
find
have
you some
anything to
good
do with
blood-
structure. Like you have to ask
because you're going to
them-
get the hype with the structure. But I'm going to tell people, go to a dog that you like. Don't just choose a person. There's more people out there. Go to a dog that you like. build what you like at
So
the time.
so in that scenario that you're talking about, you don't have a stud. You have a female.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, your advice was
Right.
earlier that you need a stud in house.
right.
So that's why I'm asking you, like, what would be the bare minimum of that stud? Not
The
what
bare
stud would
minimum?
you go to if you're going to go buy a stud.
Make sure that
Like-
he has pedigree for sure. Because I'm a pedigree person. I believe in having blood because blood matters. Because you can have all the DNA in the world. If your dog if it doesn't come from a consistent bloodline, I don't think that does you any good to have all that fucking color. Because if the dogs look like shit, what the fuck does color matter? In my opinion, that's
No,
my
that's-
opinion.
that's
you know
pretty
what I'm saying.
standard, yeah.
I'm gonna use Flair for an example. I bred to Flair because still to this day I can look at a lot of his kids and I don't see flaws in them. They look good. They got structure. You see what I'm saying? So he's a consistent dog. So he'll always be a dog that'll never be a bad choice to go to. You see what I'm saying? And that's the thing.
So
about,
then that's
but
the
he
that's
comes
the
from
style of so that's the style of stud you would suggest is something. It
something
doesn't
that's
matter.
consistent. That comes from consistent bloodlines because he comes from consistent bloodlines, right?
Yeah,
See what I'm
that's-
saying? Everybody above him has produced consistently. They still can produce in the market today.
Yes.
And make those same good looking dogs. And they also have enough DNA to do it. Whether they got 2 copies or 1 copy, they got enough DNA to still do things. So to me, those dogs are probably more valuable because some people have females that have 2 copies of every fucking thing, and they might not. You might overpower a breed.
So I'll go and then you can close it out. That leads to what I say, and what I switched halfway through and started doing is I believe my females started with structure, and now I'm loading DNA into them, and that's how I'm building my camp. So if my brother came to me and goes, "Hey, I want to do this," first thing I'm gonna tell him is run, go away, don't fuck with it. But if he's bound and determined to do it, I'm gonna tell him to get him 2 solid females that are loaded with DNA. And then you can go hunt out these studs, and it don't matter.
Right.
Because you're going to outproduce whatever stud. If your female's maxed out, then you're going to outproduce what you're breeding to.
Exactly.
And then you could keep a stud in-house. Or the next generation after that, you can keep a stud
That's what I'm saying.
in-house.
You keep 'em from
once
there. You build
once
in your
you've
own
got
yard.
4 to 5 solid females, now you have a program.
Build in your
And
own
when you
yard.
go outside, those females should add to the breeding. And you shouldn't rely on that stud to bring your program forward because that's still not going to put you on the level that you bred to.
right.
If I bring a way lesser dog to Flair,
Right.
then I'm going to get a good dog. I'm gonna get a level up,
Right.
But I'm not going to level past you,
Right.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Dogs
So-
like that are always last because he's gonna always be able to add.
But you
to
got to
your
get
dog.
those.
To-
Like, how many dogs did you produce before you got Flair? Like
Tons,
That's
tons
what
and
I'm
tons.
saying. So you can't start off. I'm
But
not
those
saying you
dogs
can't.
were a
That-
dime or
th-
I believe those
believe
dogs wasn't a dime or a dozen back then. And now, if you know where to go, it's about now. You got people like Kevin, you got people like Isaac, you got people even like us that if you don't know us, we got structured studs that are here. So to find a structured stud isn't hard.
Right. So
But-
that would be the advice you have to give is like that. This is what you're looking for in a stud. If you're gonna have it in house,
Yeah.
you have to go find it. You can't go. Don't go try to mess with Flair. Don't go try to mess with Teddy Grahams. Don't go try to mess with these other studs. You need to go find a stud that has the characteristics. If you're gonna have it in house, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna breed my female to produce that stud that I want.
Right. Or you do that. That's what I tell a lot of people. If you only got females, say, breed to these studs, breed here, breed there. Like you said, you're going to have to breed to other people's dogs just to create what you need because you don't have any studs. Once you got 2 breedings there from 2 different females, you can keep what you want from both sides.
Yeah.
And breed those dogs together
Here is my
and start your
advice
foundation.
to close it out. My advice to any new breeder, like you said, get you a great foundation female or 2 and do your research. Go to shows, look at studs. 9 times out of 10, there's going to be a little unknown breeder at that show that's got one badass looking stud.
And it won't cost you 10 grand to breed.
And it won't cost you 10 grand to breed to it.
That's what I'm saying.
But you might also develop a relationship with that benefits both of y'all in the long run in
guess what?
working together. But you you can go look right now. If somebody says, "Oh, I got a bleeder," there's 200 comments under that post.
Right.
A stud is a mute point. If you're not going to use it on your yard a bunch, there's no need in keeping one because you're just feeding a dog. Now, if you produce the stud and you like it and you wanted to keep something off of your lines, that's totally different because it maybe is yours, but don't start out that way. Go buy a couple badass females.
Definitely.
And don't even get them maxed out on DNA. That's where everybody screws up. If you go and buy a new shade Isabella, you know how hard it is to get away from that?
That's what I'm saying.
Just go buy you a nice structured chocolate or black and tan or even a blue. But don't load out on the DNA because it boxes you into a corner and you can't produce nothing but new shade Isabellas, and everybody's producing new shade Isabellas. New shade Isabella is the new fawn. There's so many of them.
Well, when I say maxed out, I'm talking about they have the capability of producing it.
That's all I'm saying is just make sure that you have a dog that has the capability of producing a Rojo or a new shade Isabella or a Fluffy or whatever.
One copy of something ain't gonna kill you.
People think we're crazy, but one of the Flair daughters, me and my partner Cruz has. She is a Fluffy Carrier chocolate that carries testable, but we kept her. Why? Because her structure is amazing. But we can make so many different dogs out of that and cover so many different markets and price ranges in that litter to be able to sell puppies and not be stuck with them. Because some people don't want a Fluffy. Some people want a Fluffy. Some people want a chocolate. Some people want a Rojo. Some people want an Isabella. So if you have a rainbow litter, you open yourself up to a bigger market of being able to sell puppies. So just foundation. Foundation female is the key to any program. Start there. If by chance somewhere down the road you create that one dog that just is going to work, whether even within your following, if that dog works 15 or 20 times in its lifetime, it's worth keeping.
Right.
But if it's only going to work 2 or 3 times and it's going to be on your yard, it's not worth keeping because now you're just taking up a space that you could have put a badass female in and created more puppies and made more revenue that way. You're just feeding a dog and picking up shit for a dog just to have a dog.
Right.
If you're going to be a breeder, no. If you're just having pets and you like to breed every now and then, do whatever the hell you want to do. But if you're trying to get somewhere in the game, a stud is not the way to go to jump off the bat.
No. I'm not saying to jump off the bat. I'm saying, like you said, you got to have the female. But what I'm saying is, I think even if I would have bought, say I wouldn't have bred to Flair, even if I could have bought one of his kids from you, or say I could have went straight to Flairgrams.
Right.
She would have went to Flairgrams. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to get that in my yard. If I love the blood enough to go to it, I'm going to definitely put
that's
it
what
here.
I'm saying.
You realize that is the exact, so you're saying start with the female.
Yeah, I'm saying
Right.
that's what I'm telling you. I'm not saying start with a male. I'm saying, start with a female.
Right.
I'm just saying, but I would definitely have me a male of a blood that I love in there to keep using, to keep building with over and over and over again, because that dog should be structurally sound enough to be able to use in my camp more than one time, right?
Yeah, but why? I mean, eventually you got to go outside. But I see the point.
I'm saying, you're going to still have to go outside. I'm just saying, but I would definitely have him there for use.
But so I guess our consensus is a great foundation female will get you started, and don't drift too far off from that, and let the market decide on your stud, whether you keep one or you go use one. Just kind of, I guess, let your budget decide. That's
it's not your budget will decide.
Yeah, your budget will decide. But I mean, studs are cheap now, so where it used to cost you the price of a puppy, it don't even cost you the price of a lock-in a lot of times now. So don't get hung up on having a stud. And remember, when you have that stud prices are pretty cheap now. So you're going to have to undercut some big names. And what are you going to sell your stud fee at? $250, $500? You're going to find out real quick it ain't worth the headache of rebreeds and all of that to have a stud that ain't going to do nothing. So, but with that, we'll wrap this week's episode up, and I wish everyone great success in 2026 and
Merry Christmas. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's gonna be Christmas. before we
Merry
come back
Merry
together
Christmas. Everybody be safe traveling, holidays. Hope Santa Claus all brings y'all the dog y'all want.
here. And if not, you know where we are.
Right, that's what I was fixing to
Oh,
say.
I'm sorry.
And if you need, if he doesn't bring it, hit me up the next day. We'll find that dog for you.
Right.
We probably have it coming. So, I know T-Rod's got a litter of Flair kids coming.
Yeah.
I got a litter of 24 karat koi kids coming.
I do.
Benny does.
Both of them.
Benny still got a litter that he's keeping secret that's coming.
Yeah.
So eventually, when that hits, I'm telling y'all are going to want to hit him up on that breeding. It is I can guarantee you, it is the only litter in the world with that pedigree.
Yeah.
100%. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know.
I think I'm gonna have some of the smallest Flair kids.
So,
I think some, not saying the,
right.
but some of the smallest.
Be
Flair
careful.
kids,
You're gonna have them in your inbox.
So,
I'm just being real, man.
oh no, he does. He's got the
I-
chance. I mean, we're
She's with her being. I mean,
with
you
the
know,
way Flair produces and what she is. I look for some very nice small structures.
she's only 19.6 with 5
So-
puppies, and she's 2.5 weeks away from
Right.
having them.
Yeah.
So, but
So I think these are gonna be real compact, real nice dogs. So, so yeah.
and so, but anyways, we'll hit y'all back up on another episode. Anybody want to be a part of it? Hit us up, get in our inbox, and we'll see about getting you on here and seeing what y'all got to say and what y'all got going on. Thanks for y'all joining in. We'll see y'all next time.
Welcome inside the kennel, the heartbeat of the dog gang, where real breeders break down real experiences, and the experts drop the knowledge you can't Google. We're talking structure, bloodlines, nutrition, training, wins, losses, and everything that makes champions in and out of the ring. This is for the ones who live it, breathe it, and build it, one lit at a time. Your host, Kevin Ben and Roderick. Lock in.